Yo gamers, I'm Blueman, and today, well, I'm looking for the president's son. Come on, let's go. Excuse me, sir. Sorry to have bothered you like this, but do you know where this clown, this man might be? Dale me gusta y suscríbete. Hi. Sorry I asked. Stop! Stop! I'm fine, though the locals don't seem too friendly. I got attacked by one asking where he might have seen Wobashley. Roger that. Okay, clearly this place isn't safe for us to be, so I'm gonna find someplace a little safer. Let's go. Yeah, I think this'll do it. So, I'd like to start by saying Happy Halloween, gamers. And with that, I think we're going to start talking about another favorite game of mine, personally. And that would be Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4 throughout so many years has remained a timeless classic to many, including myself. What's funny though is, I mostly experienced Resident Evil 4 through my friends when we'd play games at their houses. They would replay the game year after year, and so I got a lot of exposure to it without even owning a copy of it myself. So then why is Resident Evil 4 such a timeless classic then? Like, what makes it one? The most obvious thing I could say about it is that it really is not like anything else. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is Resident Evil 4. There's countless stories you could find anywhere on the internet, or probably even through people you know about it, just because it's that influential. Stories like how they were up late on their GameCube, PS2, or whatever console they've re-released this game onto a billion times, and just playing through it, either with friends, like with me, or by themselves in the dark of night. You know, listening to that save theme, or buying and upgrading their gear. Most people, most gamers, can safely say they've beat this game at least once in their lifetime. With all this positivity about Resident Evil 4, there is a little bit of negativity, and that it's the odd man out when you compare it to the Resident Evil games that came before this one. The game actually got quite a lot of ire on release for being so drastically different from the rest of the franchise, but people came around pretty quickly about it. And most people nowadays swear and die by this game. So, while it did rub a lot of old school Resident Evil fans the wrong way initially, it did also pave the way forward for the franchise, for both good and bad. Then there's the gameplay, and what makes it special to so many. Firstly, it's almost like a puzzle game in itself. The game doesn't allow you to move and shoot at the same time, meaning that positioning is key, and that you have to position yourself well to shoot. Otherwise, you're going to take damage or worse. There's also other factors, like deciding what weapons to use when. The shotgun is really good at clearing crowds that are right up next to you, whereas a pistol is good for, one-on-one picking off. Or grenades, which are good for clearing big crowds of enemies that might not be too close to you. This makes each battle like this constantly moving chessboard of things happening, and you having to constantly adapt to it, coupled with enemies that force you to use the entirety of the game's combat. Normal villagers slowly approach you, and can throw axes and other things like pitchforks at you. They aren't too big of a threat by any means, but they can get uncomfortably close if you don't take care of them. Then there's other enemies that force you to move around, like the chainsaw guy. He can kill you in one hit, and he moves faster than the other villagers, forcing you out of positions to shoot back at from. There's also little things you'll pick up on with the combat as well, such as landing a staggering headshot lets you run up and kick them, dealing good damage to the kicked enemy and pushing other enemies around them away, creating space for yourself. The combat may seem antiquated at a glance, but even today this holds up well, and it makes for some really engaging fights. And then there's the element most people don't like about Resident Evil 4's gameplay, and that is dragging around Ashley. Ashley is an escort target, and can actually be hit and killed just like you can. Though usually they'll come pick her up and try to take her out of the area you're in, which results in a game over. You can tell her to either wait or follow you, and sometimes even hide inside some containers, though that's kind of rare and it's barely ever utilized. I don't think Ashley inherently is a problem mechanically. It's more that when she tags along, you go through some of the worst rooms of Resident Evil 4.
Ashley? There you are. Alright, let's go. Huh. Feels like I've been here before. Mm-hmm. You? Mr. Blueman Manatee. It's quite good to finally put a face to the name. See, you're the one causing all these issues. No matter. I'll take care of you myself. Will you now? Unfortunately for you, when you battled with one of my so little minions, they seemed to infect you. Please, allow me to demonstrate. Impressive that you resisted, but you won't for long. And now you. We need you for the ritual. Come. Ashley? Wow, that sucked. I lost Wolf Ashley, and now I'm infected with one of these parasites. This day just keeps getting better. Where'd everybody go, anyway? Bingo? Whatever. I want to call command and let them know everything that's happened, see where to go from there. Then we can continue on.
These days, it isn't terrible dealing with those, annoying rooms or annoying parts, especially with all the guides and stuff online to make a lot of Resident Evil 4's annoyances easier. But you gotta remember, back before the internet took off like it has now, you just had to figure out all these little quirks by yourself about spots and things you can hide Ashley, or things you can do to certain enemies that might kill them faster. Hell, there's a way to solve like every puzzle now in like 3 seconds because people have memorized where the pieces start on what difficulty and where they end. Which I do think helps in preserving Resident Evil 4 for welcoming new players who've probably only played the remakes. Which, this is the part where I urge you to give the original Resident Evil 4 a chance if you haven't before. It's a lot of fun and offers a different take on all the characters. Despite the remake and the original sticking close in terms of plot and story, it's enough to feel like a whole new playthrough in itself. Another cool bit of Resident Evil 4 is it was one of the first games to introduce the grid-based inventory system. Yeah, Resident Evil 4 gives you an attaché case that acts as an inventory for all your items, and you can upgrade the size of it as you play through the game. Eventually, you'll have to play a little Tetris, essentially, to fit everything inside, because you'll get way too much ammo, way too many healing items, and too many weapons to fit it all inside. Not only is there the inventory system, there's also the merchant, who sells you new weapons and can upgrade your attaché case, and even upgrade weapons you have to do better damage, have better ammo capacity, and so on. You can even sell unnecessary items to him or treasures you find as you play through the game. The merchant is one of the most iconic parts of Resident Evil 4, with his voice lines echoing into many players' minds. Even people who've never played Resident Evil before quote him commonly to this very day, 20 years later. You can typically find him with his signature fires he stands next to too, and even sometimes his shops that are entire new load screens that hold shooting ranges that you can complete for rewards.
Over here, stranger.
Who are you?
I'm a merchant. I've got a good selection of things on sale, stranger.
Depends. What are you selling?
See. Take this.
It's kind of drank over a little already.
Sorry. Had a little.
I'm good then, thanks.
Good travels, stranger.
See ya.
And speaking of rewards, there are treasures all over Resident Evil 4 to take and sell to the merchant for those lovely upgrades of yours. Sometimes you'll find a small treasure just twinkling on the ceiling. Other times you'll find a treasure that needs to be combined with other treasures, making it even more valuable than it was before. There's even other examples like this necklace that you could shoot down into a vat of whatever that is, hurting its value. But you could shoot the plank behind it, lowering the lid, and it falls on top, letting you take the treasure for its full worth. Then there are all the puzzles the game throws your way, allowing for some downtime from the combat. Usually, the puzzles aren't as hard as, say, Silent Hill or even earlier Resident Evil games, but they are a nice change of pace from constantly being swatted at by axes and shears and the like. And for when you need heals, there's the very recognizable herbs that carry over from the older Resident Evil games. Just like from those, you've got the green herb, which heals you slightly, and the red herb, which cannot be used on its own, but when combined with the green herb, fully heals you, just like those previous games. And finally, the yellow herb, a new herb to Resident Evil. Yellow can't be used on its own either, just like red, but when you pair it with the red and green herb, it not only fully heals you, but increases your maximum health. So be sure to keep an eye out for any yellow herbs just as you would treasures. There's also a ton of weapons to choose from to take along with you on your mission to save Ashley from this horrid place. There's the ever-reliable pistol you begin the game with, but there's also like 3 other pistols you can obtain in the game. Same goes for shotguns and, every weapon type essentially. There's different variety in the weapons, and each have their own upsides and downsides. I personally like the Red 9 pistol as it packs one hell of a punch, but it has a slower reload speed, worse fire rate, all that stuff. The merchant starts selling more weapons to you as you progress through the game, such as the sniper rifle or the magnum. But some weapons can be found on their own in the game world, such as the shotgun in the village house. And also, don't forget to backtrack later on in the game for your own free broken butterfly magnum. Something else Resident Evil 4 does that no other Resident Evil game did before it is it added QuickTime events. I'm not really sure why other than just because. And it's weird because there were a few games using QTEs around the time of release, but not very many. Though, I guess it does make sense because it was catching on at the time. The funniest part is, though, is that Resident Evil 4 puts these into strangest places. You'll have a QTE randomly as you're walking through places, and other ones appear at the very butt end of a cutscene, or even the very beginning. I don't hate their inclusion, but some of them do feel really out of place, and it's just such a strange thing to include. Another strange inclusion is the small segment where you play as Ashley inside the castle. It's a neat segment though, since it switches up gameplay and you do have to play it different because you have no access to weapons, but it's basically just one big puzzle after another while dodging enemies. Still, it is a neat inclusion and I enjoy it though. And speaking of locations, the various locations you visit in Resident Evil 4 are part of what makes it very memorable throughout your entire experience. The game begins in the village, and you head past various farmhouses and woods surrounding the area of the village and the church. Then, there's the big, and I mean really big, castle. The castle is a good set piece all around, though it can kind of get long in the tooth, especially near the end, because it kind of drags on a bit too long for my tastes. And finally, the last location you'll be visiting is the island, or as my friends and I call it for short, the factories. I'm not really sure why, that's just what we've always called it. It's not what it's officially called, just, Each of the locations do a good job at conveying your progression through the story though, I think, because so many rooms from all the different locales are instantly recognizable. Oh look, it's the cemetery outside the church. Oh look, it's the water room. Oh look, it's the first combat arena on the island. So many spots in this game will stick with you like that, because there aren't many rooms that feel the same from one another, giving you a unique situation and setup each and every time. There's also the many boss fights you'll encounter throughout Resident Evil 4. Bosses honestly aren't too mechanically crazy or different when you compare them between themselves. They're just giant health sponges that do a little better damage than normal enemies most of the time. And they also have pretty telegraphed attacks. But there's still really cool set pieces that you'll likely remember after the fight is over, such as the Mendez fight in the burning barn, or the Krauser fight on the castle rooftops. Which leads me to finally talk about the story and characters of Resident Evil 4. To be honest, I don't have much I want to say about the story, as I prefer you to experience it yourself and kind of form your own opinion. And I kind of want to talk a little more about the characters rather than the story, because the story is kind of straightforward and not all that convoluted. I like what's there of Resident Evil's story, even though there isn't much in the way of plot for Resident Evil 4, to be honest. And the plot that is there, like I said, is kind of complicated and wacky, but it's done in a way that's almost cartoonish, because the dialogue between characters makes them all seem super unprofessional towards one another a lot of the time. And there's countless insults throughout the game that make me laugh every single time I hear them. Leon also acts very different from himself in the original Resident Evil 2. It's almost like he's an entirely new character here. But I like him. He's got stupid quips and such an unserious tone to it all, it's hard not to like him. But yeah, he was sent here to rescue the president's daughter, Ashley, and that's why the villagers attack Leon, is because they're all infected by the Las Plagas, a new bioweapon this cult uses to control the minds of anyone infected. Leon eventually becomes infected with the Las Plagas himself. and throughout his mission meets the other characters of the story. Like Luis, who's a slick-backed hair, bravado type guy with plenty of one-liners himself to keep up with Leon. And then there's Ada Wong from Resident Evil 2 as well. She makes a return and she's just as mysterious and secretive as the first time they met. There's Mendez, the first antagonist, I guess. He's the village chief, and he's the big bad of the village portion of the game. To no one's surprise, he's tall, quiet, and menacing. All around, he's just a loyal fellow to Sadler. Next, there's Salazar, the big bad of the castle portion of the game, who I have always found to be annoying, but that's kind of the point. Then there's Krauser, a former comrade of Leon's in the military, which is not explained unless you played one of the, I think it's Umbrella Chronicles? It's like a Wii game, I think, originally? Maybe, I don't know. He's also been infected with a bioweapon, much like every other bad guy in this game. And finally, Sadler, the head of the cult of Las Plagas, who orchestrated this entire thing and kidnapped the president's daughter, setting the game in motion. I think personally, this is the perfect type of game for me. The story is pretty important, but it takes a back seat to the gameplay. The characters and their interactions with each other are all great and cheesy, like you'd expect from an early 2000s game. And while the plot isn't, like, crazy or anything, it's pretty straightforward all things considered, and it's still a joy to play through every couple of years.
Command, I lost contact with Wobashley. Oh, don't worry. I'm well aware you've lost Wobashley.
Ah, so you hacked my comms.
Good to know. Oh, and don't think you'll be getting him back too easily with all the crap I'll be sending your way.
What, forget to flush?
You're laughing now, but you won't be laughing when I sacrifice Wobashley for our great ritual.
You wish.
You don't stand a chance. Dare to face me in your own peril. I control you, after all.
Go to hell.
It would appear that you're too late. Soon the ritual will begin.
Looks like I made it just in time.
You can't shoot me. See? What? How is it not taking hold?
That's because I had it removed off screen.
I won't let you just win. Not like this.
And now you're finished.
Happy Halloween. Come on, old Ashley. Let's go.
We made it. Well, I saved Wobashley. Thanks for your help, by the way, of watching the video. I appreciate it. We couldn't have done it without you. And thank you for watching, again, because I had a lot of fun shooting this video and a lot of fun making this video. I don't know if I did an amazing job explaining things. I feel like I might have been a little too quick. Mainly because I was trying to be faster than my older videos, because I sometimes drag on a little bit. So I want to try and rapid fire certain segments a little bit. Tell me if you enjoy that method or not in the comments, or just, you know, like or dislike it. It doesn't matter. But I hope you enjoyed, again, the third time. I know I'm running out of things to say here because it's the end of the video and I don't have this part script. I'm just kind of doing it. Really, man, why with the loud car? But yeah, I hope you guys have a happy Halloween or have had a happy Halloween. And I hope the rest of the day or night is good for you. So, well, with that, me and Woe Bashley will say later, gamers.